The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now, from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here are your hosts of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard and Taylor Welch.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for April 12th, 2026. This is season 15, episode number, Dan Weber, 61. That's right. I said it. I don't care. And this is episode number 575 in the long-running podcast that is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everyone. I am your host, Bob Howard. She is
Taylor Welch.
And Taylor, the 56-game regular season is in the books, and the Binghamton Black Bears finished 48-6-2, if I remember that correctly, with 143 points and an .851 winning percentage. Not a bad end to the season, correct?
Oh, definitely not. And to think, I talking to somebody the other day, and they said that this season felt like it was really long. And I was like, I feel like it flew by. I feel like it went so quickly. I feel like just yesterday was the first game of the season and everyone was getting so excited to get back into it. And now we're at the end of the season. And it's so crazy to think about that.
Yeah, no, 100%. We definitely really did seem to, at least in my opinion, see the season fly by. And I think one of the big reasons why fans probably think that the season went a little slow, and I hate to harp on it, it's because we played the same two teams 33 times. And that's rough. That's rough to get through. Even, I was in the office of Brant Sherwood on Saturday night. When I disappeared from you guys, you know where I was. I was in the office with Brant, and we were talking, and I sat down, and I don't mean to say this negatively, but the last two games of the weekend, the hockey itself was okay. I was a little bored. I was more excited about the team awards, and I was more excited about the fan appreciation, and then things of that nature more so than the hockey itself, because we've played them 16 times when it was all said and done. The competition wasn't good enough. Like the last couple of games against Watertown, I was bored as well. I have no problem saying that. I'd almost would have rather have seen the last four games that we played against, Watertown and Danbury be against maybe two more against PD to see how we would stack up, or two games against Blue Ridge. To me, just seeing the other competition and the other players just would have been a little bit more fun. Maybe that's one of my lows of the season, right? The lows of the season was, for me, if we're talking about me, is maybe the schedule, and just at the end of the year, I was like, oh, okay, Watertown again. Okay, Danbury again.
Yeah, I agree with that as being a low, because I was trying to, think of some lows, and I had a really hard time coming up with some, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I know when we first talked about the schedule, it was kind of nerve-wracking to see we didn't have that many home games towards the end of the season.
Right.
And I almost feel like that kind of worked to the Black Bears' advantage, because they've had how many sellouts now in a row because we didn't have that many home games. And now everybody wants to get to a Black Bear game, and the tickets are sold out a week in advance.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like the crazy aspect of the scheduling there. But I do agree that it does sound, it kind of sounds bad to say that it was kind of boring. But it's you can only play a team so many times before you pretty much know how both sides are going to react to certain things. Mm-hmm. And there's only so much they can do. I mean, you face each other so many times. You pretty much know how the other team's going to play. They might throw in, you got the college guys, so that might add some excitement factor, which I think happened a little bit here and there. But it's still only so much. And you can really only do a little bit here and there to kind of change things up in those games. And otherwise it's just if you watch this last game and compared it to the first game of the season, they probably looked pretty similar. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of have to agree with the low part there, and just, not facing everyone in our own division is probably up there for me too.
We had a 3-game losing streak. And I think for the Black Bears last year, they didn't lose more than one game in a row. So I think maybe that's a little bit of a low when they lost those 3 games. One was to PD, and And then the next weekend, they lost 2 games in a row to Twin City. That might be a low. But as a high, I mean, of course, essentially matching the points and the winning percentage. That was great compared to last season. They matched that. They only had 1 less win versus last year. To me, that's a high. That's also pretty amazing. And they had a 15-game winning streak this year. I mean, there was a lot more highs than I think lows throughout the season.
Oh, definitely. And even when I try to think about any lows, I can't think of anything that's around the team.
Right. Exactly.
When you think of a low, it's like, oh, well, it was the schedule, or, it's playing this person so many times and that kind of stuff. Anything that I can think about has absolutely nothing to do with the team. And for me, the high is just being able to watch the team kind of progress as the year went on. Because, I mean, they came out firing, and I think this is the first year where I've seen that. Because I feel like in the last couple seasons, it kind of started off maybe a little bit stagnant, a little bit slow for these guys to kind of, get out there and kind of get worked up and start getting the points and that kind of thing, where I talked about it several times where last season, CJ Stubbs, he took a while to get that monkey off his back.
Not this
time. Season, he came right out and started firing right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And it was awesome to see that. They came out absolutely hammering on all cylinders, coming into, the first part of the season, and they never let off the gas. And that was something that I was really, really happy to see. Because, the one season we talked about not playing a full 60. The next season, they're kind of slow to get into the game, or, they're slow to finish the game type of stuff. So I was really happy to not have any of that throughout any point of this season. At no point during the season was oh man, they're either starting to let off the gas, or they're not, they're not out there to try to win, or they're not, doing what they can. And I didn't have that feeling at all this season. And that for me is a high.
Taylor, I think the one thing that we had a common critique on with this team, and I think the team also addressed this a couple different times as well, was just odd man rushes, right? Giving up the puck in the offensive zone, turning it over, and the other team goes in. But it didn't happen a lot, but it was the one thing that you could point your finger to and go, oh, they need to work on that. They need to work on that. Otherwise, I think things went smoothly throughout the year, even with and here's another low that we could probably throw in there as a low point in the season, was the injuries to Tyson Kirkby to start the season, and maybe the injury to Gavin Yates to end the season, right? At this point, I know a little bit more about Gavin's injury, and he might be done for the season. And that would be a low point, just like at the beginning of the season, Tyson's injury maybe was a low point to start the season. But the best part about this team is, yes, we will miss Gavin, and we missed Tyson at the beginning of the season, but there are so many other great players to kind of next man up mentality fit in those spots.
Yeah, and that's kind of just brings me back to the point of I had such a hard time thinking of any lows, because my other low was the amount of times that, every other weekend we're sending somebody up to the SP with the visa issues, which we've talked about the visa issue thing.
Yeah.
And, we don't need to keep bringing that up. No. But, it's just we were constantly without a key player for a weekend, for 2 weekends, for a couple weeks. It was just a theme there for a while. And, yeah, we, like you just said, we have the guys on this team that do that man up thing, and, talking with Scott Romakers or Dan Weber and, so many of these other players that you can literally just take from this position, plug them into this position, and they're going to act like they've been there the entire season. And it was so insane to kind of see that come out from this team. And just, and that brings me to it's almost not even a low for me. And it's kind of a high, because this team performs so well with one another that it's just the entire season, just absolutely crazy with the ability of this team to be able to do stuff like that. But I do agree that, it was it started off kind of rough with, Tyson going down after the first game.
Zach Sirota.
And Tyson started off the season beautifully. He had a hat trick in the first game, and then he's out for several weeks, and you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then, Gavin, he's had such a phenomenal season, and he's probably one of the best seasons in his career.
Yep.
And then, he gets injured in that game. And it's super unfortunate kind of stuff that we've seen throughout this season. But at the same time, like, just the people on this team in general. And then the other high for me that doesn't really have anything to do with the team or the game itself is just the fact of being able to do this with you and the interviews and getting to know the players and, doing all that extra stuff, hanging out after the game, talking about things and just meeting the people that I've met this season. That has absolutely been the high for me and probably my favorite part of this season.
Oh, that is pretty awesome. I'm glad. I've enjoyed having a kind of like a partner in this who is taking on some of the responsibilities and doing some of the things so it can grow without it all being on me. That's been a joy for me to see someone grow into this as well as you have, which is definitely a high. The other high point for me with this team was how amazing CJ Stubbs and Ivan Bondarenko, and who would have thunk at the end of the year that it would be Ivan Bondarenko with the most points on the team, and he actually ties the all-time franchise record of 98 points, and not CJ. It just seemed because CJ was in the lead all season long. He has to sit 3 games in the last, six games, basically. And Bondo, kind of goes over the top and gets that 98th point, and CJ only gets to 97. Crazy. I loved it. I loved the competition. And the best part for me, Taylor, is after Saturday night's game, Bondo was still mad that he did not get the 99th point. Whether it be a goal or an assist in those last couple minutes when the goaltender Aiden Pierce was pulled from Danbury, he was really looking for it. He knew he was that close. That's the coolest part to me is some players will come out and go, oh yeah, points don't matter, team wins, stuff like that. He knew it was there, and I love that. That means he wants it. He wants that kind of stuff, which secretly we all say, we all say outwardly, we don't want them to care about points. We want them to care about winning. Yes, that's true. 100%. Secretly inside me, when a guy's that close to a milestone or franchise record, I want them to care about it. I really do. And it was just great that Bondo knew about it, wanted it. And the competition between he and CJ Stubbs may not have been a personal thing between them, but they were definitely doing it on the ice.
Oh, it's definitely hysterical because, just Bondarenko in general, he's 5th on the team for goals.
Yeah.
And so that just tells you like just how crazy he has been when it comes to assists and stuff like that. And as you were talking about, Bondarenko being conscious of it and, knowing that was there and knowing he was so close to that, I was going to pipe in and say, well, that's what happens when you have a results-driven team. And then to the other point about, that last, couple seconds of that game and everyone's so excited and I look up and you're, standing up in the press box and you look like you're losing your mind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did notice. I was really I wanted to get a video of it, but by the time I noticed you, it was pretty much done at that point, and then you had sat back down. So I was a little disappointed about that. But I caught you. I noticed you.
Yeah, well, and it wasn't that I was angry or anything. I know I was probably moving around a little bit. I was talking to a couple of the off-ice officials. It's like, he's so close to 99. He was so close. And I was just, listen, for the fans of the Power Play Post Show, I want you to know, yes, I'm a credentialed media member, and I do have a badge, and I walk in there, and I do have some access with a team that maybe some people don't get. I'm still a fan of this team, though. I'm a fan of Binghamton hockey, #1, and every once in a while, I'm going to be up there, and I'm hoping for something that's really going to be good, or I see something that kind of burns the Black Bears maybe a little bit. I do get a little animated. I think what some people like about me is that I do show that kind of passion for the team. So, yeah, I did it, and she caught me. She never. What I want to know is why she's looking up at the press box and not down at the not down at the ice.
I don't even know why. It's just I happened to glance that way, and I could see that you were up, and then like it just caught my attention at that point, and I could see like your arms were kind of flailing, or you were just like pacing back and forth. You were doing this whole back and forth thing, and then you finally sat back down, and I was like, he's either really excited about something, or I missed something on the other end of the ice, because you can obviously see that end better than I can, and I was like, either something happened that I didn't see, or I'm like, he's just so excited about something. And that's like when Dan Stone got that goal, and I looked up because you were still moving about, and I was like, well, maybe Bondarenko did something, or maybe that was Bondarenko, because I didn't see who took the shot.
No.
And so when I heard it was Stone, I was, again, nothing against Stone, but I was a little disappointed.
yes. I was a little, I love Dan. I love you. Dan just asked me recently, Taylor, and this really, maybe this is like one of those highs, personal highs for me. Dan sent me a message on Instagram and he sent me a picture of one of the pictures I took of him. And he asked me if he could send that to the Adrian College, where he went to college, because they are writing a story or they're doing something with him and they want a picture of him. And he wanted to use one of my pictures. That was like so awesome. So I love Dan. I really, really do. And I really enjoyed my interview with him. And hopefully someday I can get him back here on the show, because he's been the partner of a defenseman of the year candidate twice now, maybe almost 3 times, because Dakota probably could have been in the running both years. And so he's nothing against Dan. Love Dan. But get that damn thing over to Bondo for the open net. Please, for the love of God, just to get that 99th point. That's all I wanted. And that's why I was just kind of like all excited. It was the most excitement for the weekend for me was seeing Bondo almost break the 98-point record that is being held now by 3 people, Tyler Jurich, Nikita Ivashkin, and of course now Ivan Bondarenko, which is 2 Russians and a guy from Elmira. So I don't know about that. It's kind of a weird stat there, but that's okay. Taylor, but yeah, I appreciate that you noticed that. Why don't you do me a favor and go through the team awards that were announced at the beginning of the first period, which luckily did not start as late as the team awards did last week in Danbury.
I know. I was kind of shocked by that, because I was like, looking at the time, like our start time, and I was like, oh, they didn't push it back like they had the previous game for the anniversary night, and I was like, huh. And we were only like, I think 10 minutes late, so I was like, man, they cooked through this. But the team awards, the first one was the Booster Club Award, and that winner was Ivan Bondarenko.
Congratulations.
Next was the Don Oliveri fan favorite, which went to the Rat Zach Sirota. Mm-hmm. Rod Bloomfield Rookie of the Year, which went to Dominic Tomei. Peter, I'm going to butcher his last name.
Laviolette.
Yep. Well, I guess it wasn't that bad. Defenseman of the Year went to Austin DeRazio, which doesn't surprise me.
No.
The Gavin Yates Forward of the Year went to CJ Stubbs. Mm-hmm. And the Tyson Kirkby MVP also went to CJ Stubbs. Yep. The Finn Hunter Unsung Hero Award went to Scott Romakers.
Absolutely 100% the perfect choice. Like all the other ones are good choices. Definitely. But when I talked to Coach Q, and he talked about what Scott Romakers has done at every single position or every single thing that right there, like, said everything about him. And I think him getting the Unsung Hero Award was absolutely outstanding. He's played in all these different positions, different line combinations, everything. And he still produced. He was in the top 5 or 6 of point getters for this team this year. Just amazing. Sorry, you continue.
And he was one of 2 players, the other one being Ivan Bondarenko, who played in all 56 games this season as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And finally, the first ever Black Bears Lifetime Achievement Award, which went to none other than head coach Brant Sherwood.
So I talked to Brant Sherwood, and you guys are going to hear the interview I did with him Saturday night after the game was over with. He came, grabbed me, said, let's do this in the office, sat down. And we did have a nice conversation. He talked to me a little bit about the awards, and he really said that he wanted Gavin Yates and Tyson Kirkby to be a part of the naming process of these awards, right? So in other words, the Gavin Yates Forward of the Year award. He wants, while the Black Bears are here, while the, if it's another 10 years, whether it's 5 years or 15 years or however long the Black Bears are here, he wants it to be known that two of the guys that have been here for 5 seasons, there was, even though they're still playing right now, right? And Tyson could play another 2 or 3 or 4 years. I mean, my gosh, he's basically living in Binghamton, New York now on a regular basis. So he could go and get a job and probably still, play hockey here. Listen, anybody that hires Tyson Kirkby, just know he's not available on Friday nights, Saturday nights, or sometimes on Wednesdays for holiday games. That's basically what I'm saying here. So, I think, and I understood that. Now, I do want to tell everyone there is one of these awards that I had a little bit of a say in the naming of, which was great. I was contacted by the Black Bears and had a conversation, and the Rod Bloomfield Rookie of the Year award was going to be possibly named after somebody else, and I kind of convinced the team to go with Rod Bloomfield. Rod Bloomfield was one of the original Dusters back in the day. His rookie season, he had like a killer amount of points. It was like 174 points in a league that at the time was probably very equivalent to what we're seeing right now, single A. There were some players that did come down and play that originally had been in the NHL later on in the Dusters years, but Rod Bloomfield had the biggest impact in Binghamton hockey history with all the points and everything that he did in the 5 years that he played for the Broom Dusters. And I'm very happy that they stuck with that, because that conversation was about a month ago. Hadn't heard much since then, and just really happy that in a small way I had a little bit of a say in the naming of these awards, which is pretty cool. And I think they did a good job in picking the winners. Me and Taylor have had a conversation about, how we would have done things differently on some of them. Maybe at the end of the playoffs, maybe we'll do a show where we kind of throw out our maybe defenseman of the year or forward of the year and stuff like that, and we'll kind of talk about it in a nice little way. But we're still very happy with all these. I think Scotty Romaker's being recognized in some shape or form is phenomenal. I just want to say Taylor understands this better now. I absolutely love Scott Romakers and what he's done with the Binghamton Black Bears. The fact that he could probably be making $50 or $60 or $70 or $80,000 right now working in the financial district, almost anywhere in this country, and yet he chose to come here and play hockey, says so much about him and the position that the coaches have put him in and how he's excelled. I absolutely love it. The interview that we did with him just a few weeks ago was absolutely outstanding. I really enjoyed it. And there's one more thing. I'm going to be posting an article about Scott Romakers probably on Monday or Tuesday that everyone is going to want to see. He received a gift that is absolutely outstanding. I'm going to put together the article and put it out there, and I have a great picture of Scotty with this gift, and you guys will really want to see it. Some of you may know about it if you were around late in the evening on Saturday night, but pretty awesome. Taylor, your thoughts on the awards?
Yeah, I mean, everybody on that list was absolutely deserving of what award they got. And, that's something that's probably extremely hard to do when you have a team that you do. Right. Fan favorite, I'm sure, was a very hard decision because there are so many beloved guys in that locker room.
And you have to pick one.
I'm sure. Yeah. And it's like me trying to narrow down 3 impact players, and I'm like messaging you and I'm like, oh, I've got like 8 to choose from. And you're like, well, you got to pick 3. It's one of those things where it's so hard. If you had a goaltender of the year, even that would probably be hard some of the times because
yeah, I mean,
it's one of those things.
Well, we talked about it. Well, we talked about it like a week ago, where it's like, if I don't talk about Connor McAnanima being a possibility to play in the playoffs because what he did in the past, I'm disrespecting him. And I'm disrespecting Dominic Tomei if I don't also say in that same sentence that Dominic. So you can have hard decisions with this, right? 100% rookie of the year, Dominic Tomei. Well, you could have also picked, Austin D'Orazio. I mean, he's had a great rookie season as well. At least offensively, looking at his numbers, you can see that. Again, it's, if you have to only pick one, it makes it really difficult. It really does in every single one of these categories.
But I do have to agree on, Scotty getting recognized in any way, shape, or form. And I think that really goes to show like how important these interviews are and why not only like Andreas and Brant, the team, the fans all love the interviews, is because it definitely helps you understand these people on a level outside of the arena. Because that's something that as a fan myself, like I'm a big fan, obviously, is that I have a hard time taking them out of the ice and recognizing who they are outside of that aspect. And that my perfect example is Gavin Yates, because he's so fiery on the ice that I never in a million years would have guessed that he's a calm, just quiet individual off the ice. And that's something where I've had that conversation many times with people. And it's something that's where, having the interviews that you do really helps kind of create that outside persona, I guess, of who these people are and where they come from and how they got to be here, or what it means to be here for them. Because I mean, that's what Scotty was basically talking about, is how much playing hockey means to him and what he's willing to do to get there and to make sure he's out there on the ice. And I think that's, why that award is absolutely deserving of him. And then on the other end of that, Brant Sherwood absolutely deserves that. 100%. And I know he's probably
all this.
He didn't want to be in the spotlight for that at all, because Brant very much doesn't like to be. It's all about the team for him. It's he coaches them, but it's everything that they do. It's nothing that he does, because he doesn't control what happens on the ice. He just controls what they know. And again, it blows my mind sometimes that like he just like he's like stand in the back of the corner and let everybody else like swarm the team kind of thing. Even if you ask him for an autograph, he's like, I'll just get it from the players. He's very much like he wants to like almost stand on the sideline and just like these guys mean so much to him that he doesn't even like put himself in the picture almost when he talks about them. So I really enjoyed that he kind of got that award and that it kind of really highlighted him for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely 100%, because the league hasn't done it. The league hasn't given him Coach of the Year, and he's absolutely 100% deserved it. When a coach comes to me in this league and talks to me about the fact that he believed that Brant Sherwood is deserving of Coach of the Year, that says a lot. It really does. Coming from another coach.
Maybe this will be the year.
Maybe this will be the year. Yeah, we'll clean sweep every single award and go, shit, we shouldn't have, maybe we shouldn't have gotten all the awards.
Yeah, we want all the awards. We want them all.
Yeah, which means
I will be selfish and I will say that. I want every award.
We want it all. We want it. And we want the damn.
In my defense, I could probably make a good argument for every single one of the awards. So.
You know what? Don't tempt her, folks, because she'll start doing research right now and come up with a legal recourse to go to the Supreme Court and basically argue for every Binghamton Black Bears player to get some sort of an award from the league. Even if it doesn't exist yet, she's going to come up with a good argument on why they should. We're having fun.
Listen, I could.
We're having fun here. All right, let's get into this. The Power Play Post Show is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook. Search for the Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Be sure to like, comment, and share our latest posts with your friends. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey? Visit binghamtonhockey.net, your go-to source for stats, history, and all things Binghamton Hockey. And let's see here. Coming up on this episode of the Power Play Post Show from the Binghamton Black Bears, we have CJ Stubbs answering 6 more questions, and we have some comments post-game from Saturday night with head coach of the Binghamton Black Bears, Brant Sherwood.
Power Play Post Show fans, do us a quick favor. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode of the show. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you're following the podcast and leave us a rating. It's completely free to do, takes 2 seconds, and it tells YouTube and Spotify to push the show out to more Binghamton Black Bear fans and more hockey fans just like you. Drop a comment too. We read them and we love hearing from you.
Okay. I'm going to read this again here. I read this on the last show. If you're a local business looking to connect with the most passionate fan base in the FPHL, we've got a great opportunity for you right here on the Power Play Post Show. Our show reaches a large and dedicated Binghamton Black Bears and Power Play Post Show fan base. People who are engaged, loyal, and invested in this team, the show, and this community. We're currently offering sponsorship opportunities for businesses to become part of the show. That includes being the presenting sponsor of our opening segment, which we just did, about 30 minutes long, putting your name on an exclusive player and coaches interviews, and even creating custom segments tailored specifically for your business. And we are developing a new 30-minute YouTube show that your business could be the lead sponsor of. This is more than just an ad read. It's a chance to align your brand with the Power Play Post Show and connect directly with fans who support the businesses that support their team. If you're interested in getting involved, we'd love to work with you. Both Taylor and I want to build something that fits your goals. And I will say, we already have an interested party, which I think is pretty cool. And we're going to talk with that party a little bit more in the future and kind of build something that's going to work for both parties, which is very, very cool. So I've already had one person kind of reach out, and so very excited for that. And Taylor, let's get into Friday night's game.
Black Bears win their final road game of the regular season 4-3 in Danbury. April 10th, 2026, Danbury Ice Arena, game 55 of the season, Binghamton Black Bears versus Danbury Hat Tricks. The Binghamton Black Bears got off to a strong start in Danbury, striking early and carrying the pace through the opening 20 minutes. Jacob Shankar opened the scoring just 3:51 into the game, getting a stick on Dan Weber's shot and tipping it past Danbury goaltender Kyle Penton to give the Black Bears a 1-0 lead. Binghamton continued to apply pressure throughout the period and capitalized again late in the frame. After a misplay by the Hat Tricks, Nick Swain buried his 19th goal of the season, beating Penton low on the blocker side with 2:37 remaining to extend the lead 2-0. Ivan Bondarenko and Scott Romakers picked up the assist on the goal. Danbury's lone penalty of the period came at the 7:20 mark for too many men on the ice, but the Black Bears were unable to convert on the man advantage. In goal, CJ Hapward made his second start of the season for Binghamton, turning aside 14 shots in the opening period, while Penton faced 16 shots from the Black Bears.
All right, so scratches in the game were Austin DeRazio, Gavin Yates, Tyson Kirkby, CJ Stubbs, Dan Stone, Jesse Anderson, Mac Jansen, and Dominic Tomei. Danbury, if you saw those scratches 30 minutes ahead of time like we all did, well, actually we didn't. I don't think they released it on time. But if you knew that, because they do swap the paperwork and they have to turn it in, that was your best chance of beating the Binghamton Black Bears this year, other than the other game that you guys beat us in. And, well, we know the results of this game. Starters for the game were Kyle Steffen, Zach Sirota, Garrett Sargis. I wonder if we'll see them on Saturday. Chicho Latham, Scott Romakers, and CJ Happer did get his second start in net for the Binghamton Black Bears. We laugh, but Kyle Steffen, Zach Sirota, Garrett Sargis were really the only real line that was, solid offensively. Solid. In other words, they played together a lot this year. And then they had the night off the next night. So a lot of players are not playing tonight. However, Ivan Bondarenko and Scott Romakers are both playing in their 55th games for the Black Bears. So obviously we may want to make note of that. The period did have a few after the whistle scrums, but no one went too far. It's not, Binghamton versus Port Huron. I mean, come on. Shankar's goal was he was in front of the net. Dan Weber took the shot, and Shanks got a piece of it, and that's the reason why it was not reviewed. Because Dan Weber's goals usually get reviewed. Those are the toughest for netminders, because as soon as that shot comes in, they're seeing it one way. one of another offensive player for the opposing team, ricochets it a little bit, and then boom, and it's just quick. It's too fast, but it was great. Great play and skill by Nick Swain to get his 19th of the season, and I'm so glad. Taylor, I want to throw this out there. I am so glad that Nick Swain got not one goal this weekend, but he got 2 goals and got to 20. That, to me, that was another highlight that I wanted to say. I want to throw that out there. Great to see him to get to 20, because what a great second year he's had.
Yeah, it definitely seems like when, as we just mentioned, we're missing key players of this game, but then, you turn around and you have Nick Swain, who seems to step up and, really shine on those kind of nights where we might not have our biggest starters or our best goal scorers on the ice or on the sheet or anything like that. So it's definitely been awesome to kind of watch him this season, kind of to break out and really shine in certain areas of the game and on certain games especially.
Without their normal lineup, this was a great period for the Black Bears. Everyone is playing their role that they should be. Power play opportunities, Binghamton 0 for 1 and Danbury 0 for 0. Shots on goal, Binghamton 16, Danbury 14.
The Black Bears carried their momentum into the middle frame, extending their lead early and responding quickly to any push from Danbury. Ivan Bondarenko added to his standout season just 3:30 into the period, finishing a setup for Mason Hohen and Tyler Schwint for his 20th goal of the year and 97th point of the season to make it 3-0 in favor of Binghamton. The period featured a physical edge highlighted by a fight at the 4-minute mark between Mason Hohen and Josh Newberg,
shocker,
along with a series of penalties that gave both teams opportunities to shift momentum.
Okay, let's stop right there for a second. Let's talk about that. Mason Hohen drops the gloves with Josh Newberg. Josh Newberg loves to pick on rookies. I don't understand it. He's given them an opportunity. I'll give him that. He's given them an opportunity to drop the gloves. I think he's a respectable fighter. Like, he doesn't do anything dirty during the fights. He's definitely not a dirty player at all or anything like that. But it's always just odd to me that one of the oldest players in the league is fighting the rookies. And it really wasn't much of a fight, unfortunately. I don't think Mason had his footing on his skates correct. And so he quickly started to go down. Josh kind of held on to him to make sure he didn't fall the wrong way, and then the linesman came in. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I was happy that he fought. I was not surprised it was Josh Newberg. But okay, we can move on.
I mean, it was definitely weird. I wouldn't call it a fight at all.
Right.
I don't even know if there was any punches thrown before he got his jersey up over him, and then the linesman just stepped in, and then Newberg skates away, throwing his arms up. I'm like, I don't really know how much momentum you would have gotten from that, but I guess it's worth a shot. But I guess that's why I was kind of interested to see that he wasn't in the lineup for the next game, to be honest. Like, that, I was kind of shocked by that.
Yeah.
But Danbury broke through on the power play late in the period after Zach Sirotto was sent off for tripping. Gennaro Fonduto capitalized with 4:45 remaining, scoring unassisted to cut the deficit to 3-1. However, any momentum gained by the hat tricks was short-lived. Just 21 seconds later, Zach Sirota answered back for Binghamton, finishing a play off a feed from Kyle Steffen. And that's something that talking earlier about maybe one of the lows was the breakaways and, odd man rushes and stuff like that. Anytime a goal has been given up on those, either the person that the odd man rush came from, like, a Dan Stone, for example, or, somebody takes a bad penalty. This case, Zach Sirota took a penalty and they got a goal off of it. They seem to turn right around and make them answer for, that mistake that they had, or that brief moment where if they thought they got something on Binghamton, like they had a hand up, they were like, nope. We're cutting that off right now. So I give them that.
Taylor, that's a great point. We saw that a lot this year, where if a team, scored a goal on us and there was a mistake of some sort, we made up for it. We recovered really well. I think those are two very important factors after you give up a goal like that. That's what championship teams do. They make up for mistakes. They recover well after making a mistake. And, great point by you. Yeah, the Black Bears did that great this year.
After a brief review by the officials, the goal stood, restoring the Black Bears' 3-goal advantage at 4-1. CJ Hapward continued his solid performance in net, limiting Danbury to just 7 shots in the period.
Yeah, I couldn't remember why they were reviewing that one, but they did. So,
well, they reviewed a lot of stuff this weekend for
they did.
Strange. I don't even know. The only one that I knew was the one that happened in the Saturday game, and I was like, oh, they were checking to see if it was a high stick. Other than that, I don't know what they were reviewing for anything else, to be honest.
Yeah. And I mean, there was a scrum. I do have a note for that in my notes here. It says, it appeared that Zach Soroda had scored the Black Bears' 4th goal. The referees did go in and review the goal because there was a scrum in front of Kyle Penton at the 16:36 mark of the period. After the review, it was deemed the goal. But unfortunately, in a lot of those cases, unlike the NHL and even in some of the AHL cities, we just don't find out why sometimes they reviewed. Maybe they thought there was a kicking motion by Zach Soroda. You couldn't really see from the camera angle that Danbury was providing. So unfortunately, we just don't know. Okay. So the rest of my second period notes, Josh Newberg fights a rookie, this time Mason Hohen. However, all Newberg did was pull the jersey over Hohen's head, like Taylor said, and the linesman separated the two combatants. Bondo gets his 97th point with his 20th goal and assists on Nick Swain's goal. So he is 3 away from 100. With Stubbs out tonight, it'll be interesting if either can get to 100, as we all know how that went, or will they finish with the most points after tomorrow's game? The Black Bears were on the penalty kill. They get great shorthanded chances, but it opened up an odd man rush, and Frandudo made the Black Bears pay. So the power play goal that we gave up, basically we had a great shorthanded chance. There was a play in our own defensive zone. We brought it all the way down into the offensive zone. We had a great chance for about 20, 30 seconds. They bring it back, and that's when they scored the goal. So sometimes when you take the chance and you're trying to go shorthanded, it leaves a little bit too much space open when Danbury brings it back, and unfortunately the goal gets scored. But, whatever. They still won the game. It appeared that Zach Soroda, I already did that one. Black Bears were tagged with 4 straight tripping calls. How about that? That means
which is crazy because they had no penalties in the first period, and even Danbury's was just a too many men minor, so I don't even count that one.
Yeah, but in the second period, I think the Black Bears were, Danbury didn't want to lose their last home game. Let's be honest, they didn't want to lose their last home game, and they made it close in the end in the third period. But with that being said, they're going to be a little bit faster. They're going to be, on their skates, moving a little bit quicker than they normally probably would because they're trying to win for the home team, for their home crowd, that type of thing. And the Black Bears, behind on the play a little bit, have to trip or get their stick in on them and causing those type of penalties. Not a great period for the Black Bears, but not a bad one either, right? Okay. Power play opportunities, Binghamton was 0 for 2. Danbury was 1 for 3. Again, they scored on the one power play. Shots on goal, Binghamton 13, Danbury 7, for a total of Binghamton 29 and Danbury 21.
The Hat Tricks came out with urgency in the final frame and quickly made things interesting. Eli Rivers got Danbury back within 2, just 1:48 into the period, finishing a play from Anton Rubstoff and Gregory Sosinski to make it a 4-2 game. The Hat Tricks struck again moments later as Chance Adrian found the back of the net just 1:13 after Rivers' goal, cutting the Black Bears' lead to 4-3 early in the third. Danbury continued to press, outshooting Binghamton in the third and pushing for the equalizer late. The Hat Tricks used their timeout with 2 minutes remaining and pulled Kyle Penton for the extra attacker, applying heavy pressure in the final minutes. Binghamton responded by taking a timeout with 38 seconds left to settle things down, and CJ Hapward, along with the Black Bears defense, held firm down the stretch to preserve the 4-3 victory.
Yeah, it was an interesting. I think the ending of the game was a little bit more interesting with Danbury scoring 2 goals, and they pulled the goaltender. They called their timeout. We called our timeout. A little bit of strategy there on both teams' part. Everything stayed clean throughout this game. Again, bored with the teams that were played against, because too many times we see some of the same players over and over and again, but not bored with necessarily with the game itself, if that makes sense.
Oh, it definitely does. I mean, the gameplay versus the team is kind of the difference there. The gameplay has been interesting in certain aspects, and then the team, you're so used to certain players.
Yeah. After the hat trick scored their second goal of the game, they then scored 1:13 later, but the Black Bears asked for a review. The review took a long time and came back as a good goal for Chance Adrian. They were reviewing offsides. Okay, maybe he did say that on air. The YouTube feed doesn't have replays when Binghamton is in Danbury. So they were reviewing offsides. I think it was one of those things where Connor McAnanama, if I remember correctly, this is the one where he turned to the thing and said, hey, that's offsides. And then what was odd about it was the player was past the line, but was reaching back towards the puck. But apparently they called it still a good goal. They might not have had a good view on that. And I think, if I remember correctly, they reviewed this one for a long time, or they were trying to review it, or they were going to review it, but maybe the replay system wasn't working. They got to make sure those iPads work. That's really what it comes down to. All right. This is game 55. The Black Bears won it 4-3 with 7 regulars out and the goalie in, who has almost no game reps all season. I don't think there's anything more to say than a win is a win, right? It wasn't pretty, wasn't really necessarily ugly either.
I mean, that one Prowler fan that commented on stuff that said, Justin, we barely squeaked by.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's because his team won 9-2, and he's looking at it as we scored more than you guys, but we've also won more games than the Prowlers this year. So I mean,
poor Hapward, he gets thrown into some sketchy situations, man. Danbury ice is not a great thing. I mean, we threw Shantz out there for his first game and he got a shutout. That still impresses me.
Yeah.
But I mean, Hapward gets thrown into a game as his backup, wasn't he? I think, and he had to switch out at one point, and then he gets thrown into this game. That's craray.
Yeah,
after not being with us all season, and he's got a job, and
Yeah, he's probably got like 4 kids and 2 cars and a mortgage. He's probably got it all going on right now, and he's just like suiting it up and going for playing with the best team probably in single A hockey. I mean, he's got such a hard life and whatnot. And I know CJ doesn't have all those things. He's just got the really good job right now. I mean, he could be married. I don't know. I try. Listen, I can keep up with about 3 or 4 players' love lives, and after that, I'm tapped out. Sorry, I can't do it. That's another great thing about Saturday night. We'll talk about Saturday night in a little bit. Listen, you can't expect the power play or the penalty kill to be perfect when you have so many of the regulars out. I don't think it hurt the team either. Danbury worked their tails off, and they were close a few times from tying the game at the end. But the Black Bears, even with the Black Aces in, I'll call them the Black Aces. And if you don't know what the Black Aces are, we'll talk about that in our next show or within the next couple shows. They're just more skilled than the hat tricks at this point, even with our Black Aces in there. The Black Bears hold on to take the opening game of the home and home series, improving the record to an impressive 47-6-2 with 140 points on the season. Despite a late push from the hat tricks, Binghamton once again found a way to get the job done against their Empire Division rivals. The 2 teams will waste no time turning around and obviously meet Saturday night. So power play opportunities in the third period was Binghamton 0 for 1, Danbury 0 for 1. Shots on goal, Binghamton 10, Danbury 12, for totals of 39 for Binghamton and Danbury 33. So that takes us to basically, the stats for the night.
Black Bears squeak out a 4-3 win in Danbury. Ivan Bondarenko scored his 20th goal of the season, assisting on another for a 2-point night. He also surpassed CJ Stubbs for the team lead in points with 97, tying Tyson Kirkby for 3rd in franchise history.
Yep.
Jacob Shankar scored his 10th goal of the season. Nick Swain scored his 19th goal of the season and assisted on another for a 2-point night. Zach Sirota scored his 19th goal of the season. CJ Hapward saved 30 of 33 shots in the win, scoring his first one of the season and improving his record to 1-1-0. Crazy.
Yeah. With
the win, the Black Bears record improves to 47-6-2 with 140 points.
Yep, absolutely. So that was Friday night's game down in Danbury. You guys did not go to the game, right?
No, unfortunately, got tied up with work and then
timing,
kids
yeah.
and Those darn kids, let me tell you. Yeah, we just work didn't get out early enough, so he got too busy.
All right. So coming up next here on the Power Play Post Show, we got two things for you, right? We'll give you a little bit of break from Taylor and I, and we're going to play the 6 more questions with CJ Stubbs, and then you're going to hear an interview with Brant Sherwood, which I did after the Saturday night game in his office as we sat down and talked about the season a little bit. So you'll hear that, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about Saturday's game. So stay tuned. We'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers. Hi, this is Brandon Buchinski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. It's 6 more questions with CJ Stubbs. CJ, you ready for these?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, perfect. All right, number 1, who was the greatest influence on your hockey career?
Hockey career. I would have to say probably my dad. I would say my dad. He just was always there for me and took me to practice, took me to games, and all that good stuff. So,
has he been to Binghamton yet?
He came, I want to say in February. It's his first time he was able to come out in the last 2 years, and he probably hasn't stopped talking about it since. So
oh, really?
It's been good.
Really? So
yeah.
So did he enjoy the arena? Did he finally get to see, other than being on YouTube, finally get to see the inside of the arena and kind of what we have to offer, right?
Oh, yeah. No, he was more than pleased about it all. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And he's still out in Utah, right?
Yes.
Wow. That's a heck of a, that's even, now the Weebers always complain about coming from Minnesota. Think about coming from Utah on a regular basis. That would be hard.
Oh, yeah, it's a trek for sure.
All right, number 2, what is your dream job outside of playing hockey?
I've thought about becoming a fireman as of late. So
really?
I think that could be in the near future. So we'll see. Has
Jerry D'Amigo gotten to your ear, or Don Oliveri?
I was actually waiting to see Jerry so I could talk a little bit more about it. So, yeah, hopefully I can pick his brain about it and kind of go from there.
That would be very cool. Well, if you do, thank you very much. Because there's not enough firefighters out there. And, without a doubt, I will still say this until I'm blue in my face. I don't care who hears it, what group, blah, blah, blah. Policemen and firemen are heroes. They really, truly are. They go out there and they do certain things that common men like me wouldn't be able to do or choose not to do. And so I'm very appreciative of both. My mom worked in the law enforcement field, and I've very good, and my best friend's a police officer down in Reading, Pennsylvania. So very much, appreciative of people who did that, and firefighters are right up there. Bravest, finest, whatever you want to call everybody, it doesn't really matter. Heroes to me. So good luck. I hope if you decide to do that, it's the best choice for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob. All
right. Number 3, which artist is on your Spotify playlist the most? Who do you listen to the most?
Sam Barber just came out with the new album, so I've been, listening to a bit of that. But I listen to some podcasts. But yeah, I'd have to say Sam Barber if you're talking artists.
Yeah, so you go from splitting chiclets to the Power Play Post Show. That makes sense to me. That would be a great little tie-in there, which is awesome. Now, I actually shared a booth with Biz Nasty a couple different times. So, and plus I called games where he was in with the Manchester Monarchs. So,
really?
Yeah. I did games
awesome
for Manchester when he was there and when they won the championship, the Calder Cup championship. So, very good guy. Much nicer guy than you would think outside of hockey, because he's got crazy personality, but he's really super nice. All right.
For sure.
All right, this is the one that's been the most interesting question to me because it's got the word interesting in it, but the response is from everyone. Number 4, who is the most interesting guy in the locker room?
Does John Brown count?
Oh my gosh, really? What is it? I mean, yes, John Brown and Cheech have been the two most popular answers this year to this question. So John Brown, really? So, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of stuff about this guy. Now, first of all, on his Instagram account, he's got sunglasses on and he looks like this cool dude from the 1980s, right? But, you know, I'm hearing all the stories, the things that he does in the locker room, and he's a workout nerd too, like Q is, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, he's Jeets. We call him Jeets.
Yep.
He brings, you know, a level of fun to the locker room. And I think without him, we wouldn't be the same, you know, tight-knit group. So I think
Really?
he's our kind of our glue guy. So, yeah, we love him.
He's like the ship's counselor, but without counseling you guys. He's just fun and just kind of brings everybody together. That's awesome.
Yeah, strictly fun. Strictly fun.
Nice. All right, number 5. What is your favorite candy or sweet?
I'm a Reese's Sticks guy. I love those Reese's Sticks.
Reese's Sticks. Is that
Reese's Sticks?
So it's not the Reese's peanut butter cups, but it's a stick.
You know, I love those too, but yeah, those Reese's Sticks. There's something about them that just, yeah.
Have you now? You haven't spent much time in the penalty box this year. Have you have you looked over at the candy and said, "Well, I kind of want to get one," but you know, with Q, you know, maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, I remember I was eating M&Ms, so I was starving before one of the games, and he got upset about me eating M&Ms. But you know, I've been in the penalty box a couple times, and yeah, I'll grab a Starburst. Yeah, Starburst or two. So
so you have. You're the first to admit it
yeah.
on the show that you've snuck over and grabbed a Starburst. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right, number 6. I know you've probably answered this before in the previous interview, but it's the one I keep in there all the time. You can change your answer if you want, if you even remember your first answer. A zombie outbreak has happened and you're locked in an ice hockey arena. Who's the one person, dead or alive, that you'd want in there with you? And it could be fictional, non-fictional. It could be anybody.
I'm going to go with Iron Man.
See, there you go. Because he's got
I think that might have been my first answer too.
That's okay. Because he's got all the skills, right? He's got all the gadgets. He's got everything you need to kind of survive something like that, right?
Oh yeah, you're set.
Awesome. CJ, thank you very much. Again, good luck throughout the playoffs. I know as this part gets aired, the season's over with. Congratulations on a phenomenal season. And let's go win the second season, right?
Yeah, let's do it. 3P, here we come.
Awesome. He is CJ Stubbs, and we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
You're listening to the Power Play Post Show. Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And I am here in the office of the head coach of the Binghamton Black Bears, Brant Sherwood, and he put on the Vegas Golden Knights and Colorado Avalanche game. Coach, congratulations on another great regular season for the Binghamton Black Bears. I'm sure that you're happy with the boys. They pulled out 2 wins here in the last 2 games against Danbury. And just a great season overall.
Yeah, amazing season. You know, I think it should get harder year after year, but for some reason there's the juice in our room is our winning culture, and it starts with the core that has come back each and every year. Gavin Yates, Tyson Kirkby, Jesse Anderson. And then the additions of college players that end up sticking around because they love it so much. So I have to give it up for the players. They're the ones that listen to me and execute the structure that we're trying to perform out on that ice. So it's amazing what we did this season yet again.
Due to the way the points kind of factored in, you guys still finished with the same amount of points, 1 less win. In the win column, I think, more regulation wins than last year. So it's a success, very much a success for this team overall to kind of match, because it's very hard to win 56 games, right? There's no doubt about it. You can't win 56. You can't go 56-0. But this team, 2 years in a row, so impressive. Probably the best team in single A hockey, not just the Fed.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I've said it before. You get to 30 wins, you're most likely going to be in playoffs, and we've exceeded that every season I've been here for a full year. It's pretty impressive, and it's just this Binghamton Black Bears thing's really catching fire. You know, you see the tailgate out before the game, you see the flood of green jerseys coming in the building, and what we've created as a group is it's hard to match that. I think there's a couple teams that are similar, like the Florida Everblades, Huntsville Havoc, Hershey Bears. Like, we have such a huge fan base, and we did it in such a short amount of time, and it's all has to do with the players. You know,
I don't usually ask you about these type of things, but 13 sellouts. Now, a big part of that, of course, is, you know, the ticket sales and things of that nature. But I think one of the largest aspects of that is the engagement from the players with the fans, number one, and number two, the results on the ice.
It's the main factors. I mean, I don't think there's anything else that contributes to it. The on-ice product is why these fans show up. They see a winning team, and they get behind them, and they absolutely love it. And then as far as our player engagement in the community and how they create these personal relationships with kids, even adults as well, like it's commendable on the players' part, and that's the reason why we have 13 sellouts.
1 million fans this year for the Fed, with obviously the additions of Athens and PD and Monroe. Very helpful. I mean, we do see still some small teams in the league, which, you know, obviously up in the Northeast, we kind of need the two that are in the league, Danbury and Watertown. But your thoughts on where this league is going, being that it did reach 1 million fans this year?
I just think there's a group about 7, 8, 9 teams that are going to, you know, have sustained success for years to come. And I think we just need to figure out the other part of it of, you know, who are we going to allow into the league? Who's going to help us grow this FPHL product? And I think, you know, if you do the due diligence and you make the right decisions on that, it just creates that gap a little bit closer with the SPHL.
Coach, tonight you guys did the first ever team awards. I've sat through many with the Binghamton Senators and the Binghamton Rangers. Was surprised it took 5 years for it to happen this year, but then they surprised you with one for yourself. I've screamed, and I will probably continue to scream, that you should be Coach of the Year, either last year, the year before, or this year. And but Andreas obviously wanted to do something for you. Were you surprised? Were you taken aback a little bit? Did it make you stop and smell the roses maybe just a little bit as well? Because you have helped really build something beautiful here in Binghamton again. I've said that the only other time in Binghamton hockey history that we've had this much excitement was back in the 70s with the Dusters. And I love my Ranger years, and the Senators had some really good years, including a championship. But the excitement now with this team is very similar to when the Dusters were here back in the day, which helped create the movie Slapshot, which every hockey fan knows. And then they give you an award like that after 3 years of being here. Talk to me a little bit about that, what that means to you.
I'm honored, and, you know, I just really appreciate the recognition, because I think, you know, everyone in this locker room, I think you know this as well, I work my tail off, and I put my whole heart into it, and I make sure these guys are prepared each and every week. And it's, you know, I've been doing this for 3 years, and I try to get better, and I try to progress. I try to learn as much as I can. So to kind of have that moment in front of the fans, it meant a lot to me, because, you know, how I came in, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the most welcoming, and I I was a fan favorite where I played, and that was a tough thing for me to manage. But ultimately, I think it made me a better person and made me realize that this is a business and it's very results driven. To be a coach, like you need to provide wins, and then the fans will get behind you. But for Andreas to I didn't see it coming, to make a note of that, and I'm in the moment. I'm trying to be present, so I'm trying to focus on the game, and then that happens. So I'm sure, give it a couple days, and it's gonna hit me a little bit harder. But I absolutely love coaching this team. I love working for our ownership, and I love the guys in that room. We've created something truly special. But for the team awards, something I wanted to do because I thought we got snubbed, a few years. And I'm not talking about myself.
I'll say it. You were.
No. I thought Tyson Kirkby deserved the MVP last year.
100%. That's
why I wanted to name the award, team MVP award, after him, and give Gavin Yates his flowers too. He's deserved some recognition. So I think it's an awesome tradition that we started in year 5, and hopefully it continues on. It's pretty sweet.
All right. So Wednesday starts the second season, the important season, the season that everyone will be talking about for a very long time, against a team you guys have not faced. What do you know right now about Topeka?
I know quite a bit. So I've watched 3 games, and I've talked to other coaches that have played against Topeka, and I think I got their structure down as far as their D zone. It's pretty much a man-on-man. I don't see them changing it, so I'm not giving up too much. So, we'll try to exploit that any way we can. And then I think they're an opportunistic team. I think they have some good players. Like Clarkey just had a hat trick the other night. How do you
stop Clarkey?
You just have to have a good angle on him. Be physical with him. That's. I'm not saying that's pretty much it.
No, I know what you're saying.
He's going to get some opportunities because he creates them. But Kosh, Lord, Clink, LaBelle. It's as much as we haven't seen this team, we've seen a lot of their players, so we're pretty familiar with their tendencies individually. It's just a matter of me breaking down what they do systematically, and then preparing our team the best we can. But ultimately, all this X's and O's talk, it's all about heart and hustle, and it's all about how we execute. So, you wanna bring your own best game, but at the same time, you're trying to pick up on some tendencies that you can take advantage of.
With that being said, you're going in, and we haven't talked about this, and I just want to get your opinion on it. You're going into the playoffs with the 2 best goalie tandem there is in the league. If anything happens to Dom, you've got C-Mac, who's an MVP, 2-time Commissioner's Cup champion. Does that allow you to rely or put your coaching more on the defense and the offense, or can you just kind of let those 2 guys do what they need to do when they're in?
I don't know if I've ever coached the goalies that much, so I just try to, like Q and I, we just try to provide drills for them and bounce ideas off them, and try to give them the best practices so they're prepared for the weekend. But these 2 goaltenders, they know what they're doing. I'm not going to tell them how to make a glove save or how to RBH or any of that crazy talk. But yeah, we are honestly, I give the guys a lot of offensive freedom, but our D zone structure, what we do off draws when we lose draws, what our assignments are, how our neutral zone forecheck is, when we end plays, how we play down low in our D zone. But yeah, they're allowed to make plays when they see them offensively. So I try not to take away any creativity on that side of things. But we will be harping on our structure. But at the same time, it's April. Like, these guys know what they're doing. I'm just here to remind them. And
about the details.
About the details and habits. But it's their time to take over, for sure.
Coach, congratulations on a great season. Good luck going into the playoffs. We'll talk to you, obviously, at some point during the playoffs again. But again, congratulations on a phenomenal season. 3 years in a row. This is a pretty awesome team to just be going into the playoffs.
Yeah, this doesn't happen every day in hockey, and I hope our fan base has perspective on this, that this is like amazing. To be able to cash in on 40 wins 3 years in a row. I know we got 39 the first, but to be that close is it's awesome, and it's all about the guys in that room. So
and I picked the right time to come back into the business because you guys have made it very easy for me to talk about you.
Yeah, it's we're pretty welcoming for the most part. It's just when you wear a different jersey.
Fair enough. Again, he is Brant Sherwood, the head coach of the Binghamton Black Bears, and we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. Two quick nice little things there from CJ Stubbs, who is the MVP Team Awards, of course. The Team Awards for the Binghamton Black Bears, CJ Stubbs. He got the Gavin Yates Forward of the Year Award and also the Tyson Kirkby MVP Award. Isn't it interesting that neither one of those two guys won it before he did? It's got to be an awkward moment when they're taking the picture and it says the Tyson Kirkby MVP Award for CJ Stubbs. But that's all in good fun, folks. That's all in good fun. All right.
My favorite part was when Gavin was taking the picture, because I was like, man, Gavin looks so short to him because he's not in his skates and stuff. And I'm like, the size difference was it was hysterical to me to see the size
I think
difference.
CJ would still tower over him.
I'm sure. But
skates.
Without skates on, I think it'd be a little bit closer.
maybe for sure. Who knows? All right. Support the Power Play Post Show by subscribing on YouTube. And thank you to everybody who definitely has. Over the last 4 weeks, we've gained 15 to 16 new followers on YouTube, which is awesome because we are starting a new 30-minute broadcast that'll happen over there sometime this summer. You'll start seeing those as we get everything developed and set up, and most of the planning is going to happen after the season because we're busy. She's got kids, and I got 3.5 shows to work on or something. What's only 2? But you know what I'm saying. When you subscribe and like episodes, it signals to YouTube that hockey fans are engaging, which helps recommends the show to more viewers. As our community grows, we're able to deliver more interviews, insights, and hockey discussions. Subscribing and liking, if you like it, it helps a lot. Is the most effective and completely free way to support the show. Join fellow hockey fans and subscribe on YouTube today. Like the episodes and leave a comment as well. That is always very, very helpful. All right, let's get through. So we start off the night. They do the national anthem, and I'm thinking, are they going to even do the team awards? I wasn't really sure because they had the carpet put out for the actual ceremonial puck drop, which they did. And then they did the team awards, and then we started the game. But it wasn't as late as when the hat tricks did theirs, which took almost 30 minutes to do. And unfortunately, we didn't get to hear any of that. We didn't get to see that. We did see Johnny Ruiz get obviously commended, and they brought him out and whatnot, which is great. I mean, listen, any interactions the fans in Danbury can have with Johnny Ruiz while he's recovering is good for Johnny, and it's good for the fans there in Danbury. But then we got to start the game. So, Taylor, that's where we'll start.
Black Bears end the regular season with a 3-1 win in front of the team's 13th sellout.
Nice.
Which I think somebody had said it was I don't even remember, 6th or 7th in a row or something like that. It was a crazy number.
I'd have to go back and look. I can actually check that while you're reading here.
April 11th, 2026, Visions Veterans Memorial Arena, Game 56 of the season. Danbury hat tricks at Binghamton Black Bears. Special teams played a key role early in this one, with both teams capitalizing on the power play. The Danbury hat tricks opened up the scoring after Jesse Anderson was sent off for holding. With 5:52 remaining in the period, Eli Rivers converted on the man advantage off a feed from Milan Brzezko to give Danbury a 1-0 lead. The Black Bears answered right back on their own power play opportunity. After Brzezko was called for holding, Ivan Bondarenko buried his 21st goal of the season, finishing a play set up by CJ Stubbs and Austin D'Orazio to even the game at 1-1. Binghamton kept the pressure on and took the lead. Just 30 seconds later, Jacob Shankar put a shot on the goal that deflected high into the air, where Nick Swain knocked it in for his 20th of the season, giving the Black Bears a 2-1 advantage with 3:24 left in the period. The play was reviewed for a potential high stick, but the goal stood. The period featured steady physical play and multiple penalties, giving both sides chances with the extra attacker.
Yeah, so there was another one right there that got reviewed. And I did go back and review the numbers. It was 6 straight sellouts to end the season. Starting on February 7th, the second game, the Saturday night game against Indiana, the rest of the games, including that game, were all sellouts. So it was 6 in a row, like you said.
That's crazy.
It is. It is. All right. Scratches in this game was Matt York, Gavin Yates, Kyle Steffen, even though I really misspelled that. Zach Sirota, Garrett Sargis, Sam Holy, Chicho Laughlin, CJ Happard, and Brandon Shantz. Starters in the game were Ivan Bondarenko, CJ Stubbs, Mac Jansen, Austin D'Orazio, Dan Stone, and Dominic Tomei. Probably our top lines across the board, including goaltender. Boom. That's the line you're going to probably see start most of the playoff games. I wouldn't doubt it. That second line with Tyson Kirkby in there might get a few starts in games in the playoffs, possibly, depending on, I think, where they're playing. If they're home or if they're away, there is a reason why you might actually start that second line. Black Bears take the first penalty of the game at cross-checking at 2:08 by Scott Romakers. Black Bears, through 15 minutes, have played a little loose and have given the hat tricks way too many opportunities, at least in my opinion there, what I was watching and seeing. 2 penalties and the hat tricks score on the second one, Rivers scoring that power play goal. Black Bears get their first power play at the 15:43 mark and score quickly with Ivan Bondarenko registering his 98th point on the power play. CJ Stubbs registers his 97th point with the assist. Nick Swain's goal was reviewed for a high stick. It was deemed a good goal, and the replay showed he did not touch that puck until it was below the crossbar. I could totally understand why they reviewed the goal, but when you watch the replay, Taylor, it was definitely below the crossbar.
Yeah, I remember when it first happened, everybody in my section was very confused on why they were reviewing something, just because it felt like they were reviewing a lot of things.
Or everything, yeah.
And because I had gone back and looked at it myself, and I was like, oh, if anything, they're looking to see if it was a high stick. But yeah, after watching it myself and, they put the replay on there, you can see that it wasn't. But I do understand having the review. Especially when because it looked close. Like, the stick's up there. It's definitely something you want to take a look at, but it stood, and that's to me all that matters.
No, I agree. All right, power play opportunities. Binghamton was 1 for 1, and Danbury was 0 for 2. Shots on goal. Binghamton 13 and Danbury 11.
The middle frame saw no scoring, but plenty of physical play and rising tension between these two familiar opponents. Things escalated early at the 2:41 mark when a scrum broke out in front of Danbury goaltender Aiden Pierce. After the whistle, Austin Pickford went after Jacob Shankar, resulting in a flurry of penalties. Pickford was ultimately assessed 22 total penalty minutes, including a roughing minor, a 10-minute misconduct, and a 10-minute game misconduct for unsportsmanlike conduct, while Shankar received a roughing minor on the play.
To me, I always laugh at that, right? Because it's like, yeah, sure, you got Shankar in the box, right? Fine, okay, but you still take more. You literally you take 20 minutes more, and you're kicked out of the game, and everybody's kind of waving at you and saying bye, and it's just hilarious to me.
I remember Austin Pickford from Elmira. Like, that's where I picture him, playing the most And I remember he was kind of like that pesty kind of person in Elmira.
Yeah.
But since he's been with Danbury, he hasn't really been on my radar about anything. Like he doesn't seem too pushy. He doesn't seem too over the top about things. So to see him get kicked out of this game was kind of a shock in my opinion. I can only imagine he must have said something that really got, I mean, the 2-10-minute definitely tells you that he was saying something he definitely shouldn't have.
Sure.
The physicality continued throughout the period, with both teams battling hard around the crease. Each goaltender faced traffic in tight, with multiple instances of players crashing the net and ending up in it around the crease, or which was, I mean, how many times was the net taken off or taken down, or somebody in the net besides a puck? It seemed like
I thought it was
everything
3
was
times.
going in the net except the puck.
I think it was like 3 times, right? In this game, I think someone was inside the net.
Durazio took out the net once. Jansen was in the net once, and those are the 2 that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Yeah, well, and the Jansen one, it was Jesse and Mac Jansen that collided in front of the net, and then Jansen went in, if I remember correctly.
Right.
So
yeah. I don't know what happened with Durazio. He came in too quick or something, but I don't know. He had a fight with the net or something. That one, I meant to go back and rewatch it today because I remember writing in my notes, what did Durazio just do to that net?
Well, and I think the net won. I'll be honest.
Yeah, our nets don't like to move very easily.
No,
so
that's not even a funny thing at this point. That's very true. Very, very true.
Late in the period, with 1:38 remaining, another tense moment unfolded as Jesse Anderson and Mac Jansen collided in front of the Danbury net. I guess we just needed to read one more second.
Yeah.
This led to an extended discussion among the officials, lasting several minutes. Shocker. Again, another thing they were talking about for forever. But no additional penalties were assessed. Play resumed with a face-off back in the Black Bears' defensive zone. Despite multiple power play opportunities, neither team was able to capitalize in the second period as both penalty kill units held strong. And honestly, both goaltenders played a phenomenal game.
Now, here's the thing that kind of threw me off. There was no penalty assessed in the whole Mac Jansen, Jesse Anderson in front of the net where they kind of collided. And I've seen the replay a couple times where they've kind of collided. They kind of collided near the post. And Janney goes down and he goes inside the net and whatnot. And then the referees discussed this for a while. I mean, there was like 3 or 4 minutes where they were just sitting there at the penalty box, just kind of discussing it. And then they went back. And then because they were near Kyle Penton's net, because and I understand one aspect of this, and maybe I don't understand the rule 100% because it doesn't always happen. But if there's a delay or you knock the pegs off their mooring for the net, you do take it out of the zone, right? So especially if it's the Black Bears doing it in front of not Kyle Penton, but Chance Adrian or whoever.
Aiden Pierce.
Aiden Pierce. Sorry, those 2 names sometimes get me a little mixed up. So if we do that in front of their net and we're the cause of it, you take it out of the zone. But I thought you would take it into the neutral zone. You take it out of the zone, not necessarily all the way down to the other end of the ice. I have to look up that rule and see where I'm getting that wrong, because it's the only thing I could think of is that they were discussing where to drop the puck and they took it all the way out of the zone because maybe we're the ones that caused the delay where they had to put the pegs back on the net back on the moorings. So I don't know. It was just an odd thing. And I'm just sitting there watching this going, what are they discussing? It didn't make sense to me. So, and I didn't get an answer from Brant after the game about that. We were talking about more important things because this is like a small little minute detail in this game when I could talk to him about 56 games overall, the season. So. Oh, well, it's my part to read, even though I just talked for the last 5 minutes. At the 2:41 mark of the period, there was a scrum in front of Pierce and Pickford. Okay, so we already talked about that. 22 minutes. Again, we don't know what he said. He probably said something. This has been a feisty period with both goaltenders seeing some bodies right in front of them. Both have had opposing players inside of the net. With 1:38 left to go in the period, there was a long delay. Again, Jesse Anderson and Mac Jansen colliding. It lasted at least 3 minutes discussion, but nothing came of it. It was so weird. A lot of feisty play, but you get that when you have played a team 16 times this season. Power play opportunities, Binghamton 0 for 3, Danbury 0 for 2. Shots on goal, Binghamton 12, Danbury 11. Totals were 25 and 22.
The final frame remained tight as the hat tricks pushed hard to find the equalizer, outshooting the Black Bears 13-11 in the period. Both teams continued the physical play seen throughout the night, highlighted by matching roughing penalties to Jacob Shankar and Konstantin Chernuk midway through the period. Danbury pulled goaltender Aiden Pierce with 1:17 remaining, looking to even the game with the extra attacker. Despite sustained pressure, the Black Bears defense held firm, limiting quality chances and protecting their 1-goal lead. With just 5 seconds remaining, Binghamton put the game away. Off a defensive zone faceoff win by Tyson Kirkby, the puck was moved ahead to Dan Stone, who buried an empty net goal. Fittingly, the final goal of the regular season to secure a 3-1 victory for the Black Bears. The Black Bears close out a regular season with an outstanding 48-6-2 record, totaling 143 points, matching their mark from last season. Ivan Bondarenko etched his name into the record books, tying the franchise single-season points record with 98, matching the total set by Nikita Ivashkin in the 21-22 season, Tyler Jurich in the 21-22 season. CJ Stubbs also reached an impressive milestone, tying Tyson Kirkby's 97-point total from last season. With the regular season complete, the Black Bears now turn their attention to the postseason. The team will travel to Topeka for game 1 of the Commissioner Cup's playoffs, scheduled for Wednesday at 8:05 p.m.
Okay. Again, the Black Bears did finish 48-6-2 with 143 points. Last season, they were 49-6-1 with 143 points. They won one more game in the regulation and lost 2 less in overtime. However, they lost the same amount in regulation with 6. This season, it's its own way equally impressive as last season because teams just don't repeat that type of success on the ice. Let's talk about that for a second. I know we're going to talk about it in the next segment that we do here, but still, this is so impressive that their record is virtually the same. Their win percentage is the same. Their points are the same. The only difference is one less win, even though they had more regulation wins. It's just, what a crazy number. What a crazy thing to think about.
It definitely is, because I remember when we started the season, you're like, there's no way that they can be the same that they were last year, and yet that's exactly what they did.
Statistically, this is a tie. It really is, because their points are the same. The way they won the games are just a little bit different. They have one less win than last year, but statistically, within statistics, and I studied math, I loved math, and I love numbers, and I love stuff like this. This is considered a tie compared to last year, which is insane because Taylor's right. I said at the beginning of the season, there's no way they can repeat the success. And why I say that is because it doesn't happen in hockey at any level this consistently. They got 39 wins in their first championship season, 49 wins in their second championship season, and they're working on their third championship season, and they have 48 wins. It's just, it doesn't happen. The Florida Everblades just won 3 in a row within the last 4 years, and the Hershey Bears have been very successful in the last few years as well. This is just one of those things that just doesn't happen. You could go another 10, 15 years before you see this happen again in hockey, where you have 2 or 3 teams at 3 different levels of hockey, because the Florida Panthers have also been very successful on the NHL level, which I know everybody has talked about. Yet in minor league hockey, to have 2 teams like the Florida Everblades and now the Binghamton Black Bears be this successful, it just doesn't happen because there's so much movement with the roster. But I guess the head coach sticking around definitely helps.
Oh, I mean, definitely. I think the one thing that we could definitely look at, which we talk about in a minute, is that I feel like this one's a better season because we had quite a bit less penalty minutes, which is insane.
Yeah.
Because of that, and I'm specifically thinking of that one Port Huron game, but even that didn't have that many penalty minutes because they didn't hand out the 10 minutes like they did in that Blue Ridge season or Blue Ridge series from last season.
No, you're right. All right, so the Black Bears had nothing to play for on Saturday night other than pride in keeping on par with the great season that they've obviously built up to. Danbury played hard, but clean, and they were looking for another win against the Black Bears. I hope for everyone's sake, the schedule is a little bit more diverse for better competition for everyone. It's kind of funny I just said that, and our recording process got interrupted because I found out some information. Funny how that is.
It's like you knew, like you were looking into the future, and
yeah,
you knew that something was going to come out if you talked about it.
I think it's important.
Crazy.
I think it's important that we blow past what I just said here real quick. Both games this weekend saw the roster mashed up a little bit, and that's okay. I think what we'll see on Wednesday night in Topeka will likely be all the regulars except for Gavin Yates. Everything I'm hearing, he might be done for the season. I hate to be the bearer of bad news on that, but I think it's possible. I don't know that 100%. It's just what I know about the situation. He might be done, and he'll be there. He was on the bench on Saturday night from what everybody's told me, because I can't see the bench, but he was there working with Coach Sherwood and Coach Q. So for me, that's awesome. Having Gavin Yates around is better for the team than not having him around, just period. I've said that about Tyson Kirkby, and I'll say that about Gavin Yates as well. All right.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got a better chance of, yapping to somebody on the bench and still being a part of the game and not getting kicked out.
Oh, don't pick on Gavin like that. That's
I can't help it, because it was so fun. Like, he wasn't he didn't look angry or anything like that, but you could definitely tell he was laying into somebody on the bench, and it was just so funny to see, because we haven't seen Gavin since that game, and everyone's kind of been worried about him. Then here he is staying on the bench, just chirping away like he hasn't missed a beat.
I think the power play will come back to life, scoring more when the playoffs begin and the regular power play units are back together, minus obviously Gavin. They are doing all the right things, but not scoring as much as I personally want. Okay, so Q, this isn't about you. This is about me. But finished third on the season. Guys, I'm not picking on Q. He's got to have faith in his boys and have positivity. I'm the one that can demand more. And the penalty kill was number one when it was all said and done. The PK filled 88% of the chances, killed 88% of the chances against the Black Bears, only giving up 31 power play goals in 268 chances, which is awesome. Speaking of PIMs, and this is what we'll talk about a couple more times throughout this show, the Black Bears finished with only 973 penalty minutes, less than 1,000. I mean, listen, if I could give that an applause, I think I have an applause thing on here.
Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo!
Okay, so that's not the applause. Here we go. There. I gave an applause to the lack of penalty minutes because I was so excited about that. Twin City had 759, so they had the least amount of penalty minutes. Congratulations to them on that mark. That's a pretty low number. Last season, the Black Bears had 1,401 penalty minutes, so a reduction of 428 penalty minutes, and I think about 400 of those are 10-minute misconducts. Growth, I believe, growth from Brant Sherwood, who credits some of it to Coach Q, but it transferred down to how the team played. I think that is probably one of the best statements I could say. Growth from Brant Sherwood, who credits some of that to Coach Q, but it transferred down to how the team played, and that's the reason why the penalty minutes went down, and I think that's a good thing for the team.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And this kind of jumps back to what I was saying about Everett Thompson. Because, I had said that he really reminds me of Brant in his first season, where he was very heated, very involved, very, he's there for his team. And, that's what he's showing up for. And that's very much what Brant was. They were very animated about their team. And then, you got Q came in and really helped bring him down and was like, you have to kind of remove yourself, from that, that kind of mindset a little bit. And I think that's been a huge thing. And it's definitely shown not only on Brant himself, but the team as a whole. And it says a lot.
No, I agree. All right. This game was a nice bookend to the season. The first game was a 5-4 win over the Watertown Wolves, ending the season with a 3-1 win over the Danbury Hat-Tricks. We played those two teams the most, so why not bookend a win and a win to start and to end the season between those two teams. Power play opportunities in the third period was 0 for 1, and Danbury didn't have an opportunity. Shots on goal, Binghamton 11, Danbury 13. They did outshoot us in the third period, but when it all came down to it, the Black Bears still had the edge, 36-35 in shots on goal.
Black Bears win regular season final 3-1. Nick Swain scored his 20th goal of the season. Ivan Bondarenko scored his 21st goal of the season. With this goal, he has now tied Tyler Jurich and Nikita Ivashkin with 98 points for the franchise best. Dan Stone scored his 7th goal of the season. Dominic Tomei saved 34 of 35 shots, winning his 28th game of the season and improving his record to 28-2-1. With the win, the Black Bears record improves to 48-6-2 and 143 points.
Yeah, pretty impressive. And I'm kind of sad the regular season's over with. I mean, I know the important season is starting next, the second season, as they say, but I'm still kind of sad. Regular season is over with, Taylor.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how a lot of the fans feel. I mean, I know everybody's very excited about the playoffs, as you should be. But as far as the regular season, I think everybody's kind of bummed out about that.
All right. Fair warning to everybody. We're going to take a small commercial break. And then when we come back, it's the end of the year numbers. So if you hate numbers and don't want to listen to us ramble anymore, keep listening or turn us down. I don't know. Just keep listening because we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. And we're going to do the end of the year numbers. It took me a little while to put some of this together, but I think it'll be very interesting to see how this team did overall through 56 games. All right, I'll start off. Team record, 48-6-2. You've already heard that about 5 times already in this show, with 143 points and an .851 points win percentage. Last season, the team was 49-6-1 with 143 points and an .851 points win percentage. Essentially, they matched last year almost to a T. Statistically, this is a tie. Amazing, amazing, amazing numbers. Goals for was a league high of 292 goals and only allowed 120 goals against. Both were also the league best. That equated to 5.2 goals per game and only allowing, Taylor, this is the crazy number, 2.1 goals per game. Both were also league best. I got to be honest with you, scoring 5.2 goals per game and only allowing 2.1 goals a game, crazy.
I mean, I can't say that I'm surprised by that number because I kept looking at how many 1-goal games that we had and, you know, the amount of shutouts that there was. So I can't say I'm surprised by the allowing only 2 goals, but the 5 goals is definitely a surprise to me, honestly.
Second in the league in the least amount of PIMs with 973, as we discussed already, but a decrease from last season of 428 PIMs. And of course, congratulations to Twin City for really breaking even further than that. Finished third on the power play, converting 25% of the time and scored the most power play goals with 79, 13 more than second place, 66 for the Columbus River Dragons. So they were the only ones even remotely close to us. Austin D'Orazio scored 13 man-up goals, most on the team. CJ Stubbs scored 12, and Mac Jansen scored 10, with honorable mentions given to Gavin Yates and Tyson Kirkby, who both scored 8 power play goals themselves. Drizz's 13 power play goals was tied for second place in the FPHL this season, so that was a great number. Finished first on the penalty kill, only allowing 31 power play goals in 56 games. That's insanity. That's less than a goal. That's less than 0.5 per game. which is crazy, and killing penalties 88% of the time, allowing the least amount of goals on the kill than anyone else this season. 11 shorthanded goals on the season for the Black Bears. CJ Stubbs scored 5 of those, with Mac Jansen scoring 2 shorthanded tallies, Tyson Kirkby, Kyle Steffen, Ivan Bondarenko, and Austin Thompson scoring shorties as well. Austin D'Orazio led the league this season with a plus-minus rating of plus 48. Ivan Bondarenko was a close second with a plus-minus of 46. And if you all remember, 3 years ago, I guess now we could say, Dakota Bond also led the league with a very high plus-minus rating, which I think was like 56, if I remember correctly.
I think it was him and Stone, and it was like 54 and 56 or something.
Yeah.
They were right with each other. It was a crazy number.
It really was. CJ Stubbs led the league in game-winning goals with 9 and shorthanded goals with 5. Dominic Tomei led the league in all the major netminder categories with 28 wins, a 1.83 goals against average, a .932 save percentage, and 7 shutouts, which tied the league record with Brendan Colgan. The other thing I want to say about Dominic Tomei, I keep track of the Binghamton Black Bears franchise records in a single season and overall as a franchise. Dominic Tomei now holds the record for the best goals against average and the best save percentage, beating Connor McAnana's combined totals for his 2.5 seasons that he's played with the Black Bears. Dominic's full season kind of puts him in there. His 28 wins is second all-time in a single season behind Connor McAnana's 30. So pretty awesome. And right now he's got 7 shutouts. Connor McAnana in the regular season has 8. So very, very close there, which is pretty awesome. Ivan Bondarenko led the league with 77 assists, which is now the new single-season franchise record for the Black Bears as well. Both Ivan Bondarenko with 98 points and CJ Stubbs with 97 points finished second and third in the points in the league, which is pretty impressive. Tyler Barrow, I think, had like 116 or 15, something like that. He had a great season for the Columbus River Dragons. I'll never not stop saying that. The team went undefeated from 11/15/2025 to 12/31/2025, which was a 15-game winning streak. So pretty impressive right there. And I'm going to let Taylor read the rest.
There was only a mini 3-game losing streak this season. Of course, you give me the losing part of it to start off with. 1/24/2026 versus PD, then the 30th and the 31st versus the Twin City Thunderbirds. 2 players not only had hat tricks, but scored 4 goals in a game. Gavin Yates scored 4 goals on 12/5/2025 versus the Port Huron Prowlers. Nick Swain 1 week and 1 day later on Teddy Bear Toss Night, 12/13/2025, also scored 4, with his first being the first goal of the game, seeing Teddy Bears rain down on the ice, and then his third saw hats rain down as well. Nick Swain and CJ Stubbs both scored 2 separate hat tricks this season. Kirkby, Thompson, Jansen, Diraz, Yates, and Sargis all scored hat tricks this season, which is insane.
We got a Sargis hat trick, but not a fight. I love it. I love it. That was awesome.
2 players scored 30 or more goals, CJ Stubbs with 39 and Mac Jansen with 32. Another 5 players scored 20 or more, Yates with 24, Diraz with 24, Bondarenko with 21, Kirkby with 21, Nick Swain for 20. Then lost it. Then another 6 players scored about 10 goals. Sirota with 19, Sargis with 16, Romakers for 16, Thompson 14, Steffen 10, and Shankar 10. Overall, 13 players scored double digits in goals.
Insane.
Every player who played in 33 games or more this season scored at least 1 goal. No more anticipated goal was was from Chicho Laughlin, who scored his on March 7th, 2026.
And by the way,
I know that was a very long-awaited goal.
Yes, and he is the one guy who played 33 games. So I counted the 33 games and above, and everybody scored a goal for the Binghamton Black Bears. And I think we got the fans thinking about it and willing it, and wanting him to score the goal. I know his teammates wanted him to win that or score that goal as well. So March 7th, 2026, first pro goal for Chicho Laughlin. That's a high on my book.
Well, I mean, even Brant wanted it to be his Christmas present. So, I mean,
it's true.
The Black Bears only lost 2 games to any one team, just twice to the Twin City Thunderbirds and to the Danbury Hat Tricks. And most importantly, the best stat line from this season, the Black Bears won on 10-10-25. And if you don't remember, that was opening night, aka banner raising night, a 5-4 win over the Watertown Wolves. And the reason that is such an important thing is because it meant that the Power Play Post Show audience and myself did not have to hear Bob Howard talk about it all season long again.
Now, isn't that the best one? And I left that at the end for you to read because I knew you would enjoy that probably as much as anybody else.
Yeah, I was just glad that I didn't have to hear about it for the entire season. I don't know if the fans of the Power Play Post Show had to hear it as much as I did, because I'm sure we talked about it more often before we started recording than we probably did while we're recording, to be honest.
Yeah, near the end of the season when you started last year, I think that was something that I did harp on maybe a little bit too much, but banner raising night is special, and I just think that team should win on banner raising night. And I'm just glad that, honestly, it was not something we had to talk about.
Scott Romaker has held his promise.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the best part is, realistically, listen, we started off the season with a win, we end the season with a win, and we're going into the playoffs as the number 1 team in the league. You can't ask for anything more but great numbers from these guys, these players, and everybody that we didn't mention still had a great season. You got to look at it that way. Maybe there's some players that we didn't mention because they didn't hit some of these highlights or these numbers, but every single player that came through this team this year played a part in some way or fashion to get the team to where they are right now. And you have to recognize that.
Oh, 100%. And, you see the other players that are doing things on other teams, and you can't be anything other than happy for them, to be honest.
Yeah.
You're watching, like, Darian Benchik has done a great job in Watertown. He's one of the one guys in Watertown who's actually able to score on the Black Bears on, any given night. So, you got to give him props for that. And, to any other player that was, a former Black Bear that got taken by any other team
or traded,
they've all done great. So, it's just all around the people that Brant Sherwood brings into this team. Just great. There's no other word for it.
Yeah, Taylor, before we go, let's talk a little bit about what we saw at the end of the game on Saturday night. We did see a lot of the Black Bears players go over and congratulate, I think, the Danbury Hat Tricks on a couple good games and maybe a season. And there was definitely some communication there. Zachary Demaray was out on the ice taking pictures, I think, at the end with some loved ones. That was great to see. I think Zach is one of those guys I hated to see go. I saw some talent in him. I saw some skill in him. Cam Clark, who we're going to be facing against the Topeka Scarecrows, I hated to see him go. But he's had a great season for the Scarecrows, scoring 3 hat tricks this season. And I believe he hit his 100-point mark as well this season. So good for him. I've actually was in communication with him over the weekend. And I just, I'm like, I can't wait to see you, but man, it's like, now we got to go against him. And maybe potentially, hopefully, obviously beat him and knock him out, which I'll feel terrible about the next time I talk to him, but we're going to definitely schedule another Power Play Post Show visit for Cam Clark, and he can talk to us a little bit about his experience over there. Also afterwards, we were down in the corner and talking to some of the girlfriends. I know you had a long conversation with Dana, Gavin's girlfriend, and we got to see a lot of the girlfriends that were down there. It's been a good season. I've really enjoyed, and I know you touched upon this in the beginning of the show about, one of the highlights for you was kind of getting to talk to some of these people and learn about them as human beings and really see them differently than being on the ice, talking to some of the players and the parents of the players and even in some cases the girlfriends or the fiancés of the players. Like for me, seeing Bailey, Lizzie Beagle, who is Matthew Billard's girlfriend, who is so super sweet. Dana, very super sweet as well. And then, of course, some of the parents that we got to see. This has been a really nice season for you and I, getting to meet a lot of these people and get to talk to them. And I definitely had a great time on Saturday night. I know I kind of disappeared a little bit to talk to Brant Sherwood, but it was just a really great season and a great night, a great way to end the regular season.
Oh, it definitely was. And to kind of jump back a little bit about, the Binghamton players going down at the end of the game.
Yes.
You could tell Danbury was, I think, a little bit heartbroken, that their season's over now, that game was it for them. And you could tell they're taking their time to get off the ice. Markle was going through and talking to every player he possibly could.
Yeah.
And that just kind of goes to show you, it doesn't matter what kind of rivalry you have with a team or how bad Brant and Markle could go back and forth between the benches and yell at each other, or the players yell at him or whatever. At the end of the game, when you guys are no longer, competing, they were down there. I think every player that knows of Markle or has been around him or played with him or whatever the friendship might be or anything like that went down. And, there was the hugs, there was the communications, there was nothing but love between both sides.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important factor at the end of the game. That's something that no matter who you love seeing.
It was almost like a handshake without it being a handshake through the playoffs. It was a love and a respect between two organizations. And again, probably at the end of the day, it was kind of still sad that Johnny Ruiz wasn't there.
Yeah, it definitely was. And, it's awesome to see that he's, out and about in Danbury. He's, showing up for those games. And then to jump on the other aspect of, getting to talk to some of the players or their parents or their significant others, it has been this season for me has been so insane with the amount of people that I've gotten to get to, know personally and have all these conversations with. And, I went from knowing one parent to now I know a bunch of them, and they come out and, talk to me, and, they're always saying hi, or they'll wave, or they'll get my attention, or they're constantly almost not necessarily looking for me, but if they see me in the vicinity, they're going to come and say hi to me almost. I got to meet Shankar's mom, which was the first time for me. And she goes, I actually recognize you now. I know of you. And I was like, oh, again, it still blows me away. And, I see Shankar's dad as he's walking through the hallway, and, he stopped to say hello. And then I have Sorota's dad who's messaging me that he's right next to me. And I'm taking it that he's 90 degrees next to me, not just slightly to the right. And it was a funny moment. And I definitely appreciate, getting to know all of these people and, the significant others. I mean, Dana, I could probably spend hours talking to her, and, you kind of warned me. You're she's a talker.
Yep.
And I feel like most of them are. I feel like a lot of them do enjoy talking, but they are all so nice and so easy to talk to. And on my side, at least I have, some of the fans and some of the girlfriends agreeing with me on my special question that you, Scott, and Emery are you guys are wrong. I can't let it go. I can't get over it.
Wow.
But Dana and I are on the same page, so that counts.
And she is definitely like your family, because your mom raises a lot of animals, has, definitely into the same business, so to speak, family.
Yeah, so we know what we're talking about. My mom's got ducks, chickens, horses, you name it, and goats, everything. And she's got horses, cats, and so snakes. Yeah, her and I, we know what we're talking about.
I hear you. I really do. Okay. We've gone pretty long, but this was the end of the season kind of review, and it was very important to do Taylor and I had a great job. We have a lot of great plans. We're still going to do poster giveaways. I think that's still the plan, that we're going to do that. We've got a new 30-minute YouTube show that we want to debut sometime in the summertime and get you guys excited for that, which will be very cool. We do have in 2 days, because we're recording this on Sunday, and on Tuesday, we're going to have another show out, right? Because we got to review this upcoming playoff series, because the playoffs start in 3 days. Like, literally, we're almost at the end of Sunday, Taylor. And in 3 days, we're going to be watching a playoff game. So we will have a show this upcoming Tuesday for the Power Play Post Show. It'll be an interview with Austin D'Orazio, which has already been recorded and is ready. And then we will preview the Topeka Scarecrows. We might know them better than we thought. So
yeah, it's something that we kind of, during our breaks, Bobby and I were kind of looking some stuff up, and it's going to be a good show. I'm telling you. Him and I are already kind of heated about some of the stuff that we're going to be talking. Well, not necessarily like heated in a bad way, but definitely some good stuff to talk about.
I don't remember which stuff this was. You'll have to remind me.
It's got to do with the scheduling and
that's right. That's right.
See.
Yeah, Taylor's putting some stuff together. What we'll do is we'll probably release the show sometime mid-afternoon on Tuesday, because we're going to record a little bit earlier in the day if our schedules work out perfectly for that. And when we do that, we'll release that. But we'll probably also take some of the information that Taylor is gathering about the schedule. And we're just going to say that like that. We might even put that out on the Power Play Post Show Facebook group too, so you can visually see what we're talking about. But we'll release the episode first. We want you to listen to the episode, right? Before we give you the free stuff, right? You got to listen and everything. And then we'll go from there. But listen, awesome. Been great. Great season. We still have at least 3 more weeks, hopefully, knock on wood, to be talking hockey at the pace that we have been. All right. The Power Play Post is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook. Search Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Looking for everything Binghamton hockey? Visit binghamtonhockey.net.
And this Tuesday on the Power Play Post Show, defenseman and Binghamton Black Bears Rookie of the Year, Austin D'Orazio.
Thank you to Rob Lapolis, our MC, John Patitucci, our musical director, and from the Binghamton Black Bears, CJ Stubbs, for answering 6 more questions, and head coach of the Binghamton Black Bears, Brant Sherwood. I am Bob Howard. She is
Taylor Welch.
And we'll talk to you guys just in a couple days right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.